going on, everybody? Today I wanted to do something a little different. I want to do a kind of a tutorial and just a walkthrough of TC2000. I currently use TC2000. I've been using them for a while. TC2000 is a charting software. They also have their own brokerage, but the main thing that they do provide, which I'm sure is where most of their customers are, is their charting software, which is pretty awesome. So I'm a big fan of it, and I just quickly want to go through a tutorial of the basics and try to keep the video not too long because they do have a lot of things to offer, but just hit on some of the most important things. So one thing just to quickly go over, as far as TC2000 goes, they do have a few different options. The silver package is like a super basic package, like just enough to get a taste of what it really has to offer. Then they have the gold package, which is pretty much everything that you need. This is the one that I have, and has everything needed in order to obviously get the job done. And then the platinum is basically just all the bells and whistles, absolutely everything added on. So it just depends on kind of your budget and what you feel like spending. Do keep in mind that the gold, you have to get the real-time data, which is another $15 a month. So you're adding $15 onto this, so it's right around $45 a month, which isn't bad. And keep in mind that if you're running trading as a business, that is a business expense, so you can write it off at the end of the year, which is pretty cool if you have things set up, accordingly. But all right, just to get right into it. So as far as TC2000 goes, this is my current setup. At the very top, it's going to say paper practice because I don't use this as my broker. What I do is I use TC for my charting, and then I use my broker to actually execute the trades, which I feel like sometimes people get a little confused at. But a chart is a chart, right? As long as you have real-time data, it's going to match up. So you can have this as your charting platform and be using a totally different broker, whether it be like a SureTrader, Lightspeed, Trade King, TD Ameritrade, any one of those things, and you can execute the trades through your broker and then just watch the charts on here. So this is my current setup. My far left has a watch list. Just to the right of that is the daily. I have a daily chart. To the right of that, this is right now it's a minute chart. I have everything up here to be able to switch through some time frames. And then on the bottom, I have a gainers and losers. This is a scan feature. And then I have my watch list, some of the things I was looking at today. When you open up the TC2000 software, when you first get it, it is not going to look like this. The really cool thing is that you can totally customize it. When getting started, it takes a little bit to get used to, but what you can do is at the very bottom, you can basically just open up different tabs to be able to have a bunch of different screens. So if you like to trade options on certain stocks, you can have an options tab. If you like to trade low floats, you can have a low float tab. If you like to trade, a certain sector, you can have that open. And ultimately what you're doing is, just organizing everything into one. So basically this is my main trading screen where I just have my 6 stocks today. I was looking mainly at, some tech stocks. And then I have one chart where I do a lot of my, technical analysis with my watch list over to the left. And then I have another tab where I basically just have my review, where I have daily, 2-minute, 1-minute, 5-minute, just to look at patterns within different time frames. But overall, once you open it up, you're going to want to build yours from scratch. So this little thing to the bottom right here to the right is basically just adding a new layout tab. So let's just start from scratch. They already have pre-built layouts. And then you can obviously start with one and then customize it as you go. So we'll just start with one chart. And then as you can see, this is kind of the standard, a different looking chart, right? So, what you'd want to do is, build this from scratch. So on the very top right, you can exit out of this current chart. And once you delete it, this is the main area where you can build your screen from scratch. So assuming that I am going to build, something similar to this, you basically have your empty screen here. And then what you can do is you can split it up horizontally, vertically. You can add your chart. You can add a watch list. So let's just break this thing down to make it look a little bit better. So let's say we'll split it in half. And then on this side, we'll split this one in half. And then you can, and the cool thing is you can drag this, right? Super friendly to be able to mess around with. But we'll make a super basic, basic thing right now. a basic layout. So what you'd want to do is, let's say you want to get just a basic chart going, right? So you click on chart. You're going to have a blank one at first. So click on blank chart. And then this thing is going to look totally different than probably what you like. In order to edit the actual chart, what you do is you right click on the chart, you go to edit chart properties, and this is everything that you need to be able to edit your chart the way that you want it to look. So if you want candlesticks, if you want, a line chart, every single option is in here. Let's just assume that you like candlesticks. That's what I like. And then we'll go to open versus close. So that way it is a red and green. And then, the up bars will fill those in so they're fully green, fully red. You can have the yesterday's close line. You can change the color of it. You can change how dark or light it is and whatnot. And then, you can go to, as far as pre or post data, you can have it never. You can have it only outside of normal market hours, or you can do always to have the pre-market data, just so that way you can turn it on and off as you like. And then as far as, and then obviously I'll go through just, some of the more important parts. But, as far as the color grid, if you like cool looking charts, which at the end of the day, it shouldn't really matter. But if for some reason you want your charts to just look a little cool, as far as this gradient, the gradient's a cool fade in, fade out. And then as far as how dark, the value is, or the date grid line is, you can totally adjust those all from within this tab. So let's just assume that, this works for you. This is a chart that you like. And then it's a little stretched out, right? So on the far right, these little arrows, you can pull them down, and obviously just, basic stuff, right? Make it look good. We'll put it on the 5 minute. And once again, just edit that, right click, edit chart properties. Everything is here. Now, let's say you want to add some moving averages or some other indicators. On the top left, you hit this little plus sign, this green add a plot. And here is everything that you can possibly imagine that you'd want to add, to your charts. Let's just assume you want to add a simple moving average. You type in simple, it pops up for you. Click on the simple, and then click on this little thing right here, just, indicating where you want it to go. You click on it. And now here is the 50 period moving average, the simple. And then in order to edit that, if you want to change the color, if you want to change anything like that, you'll click on the little drop down, you click on edit. Here's everything you need to edit it. Let's just change the color. You can change it to exponential, everything you want to do to be able to add that. Let's just add one more. So we'll add another simple moving average just as a good example. Click on it. Let's call it we'll edit it, and we'll call it we'll make it the 200 simple period moving average. And you can make the line width different. You can make the line, style different. I mean, every single thing that you need, you can adjust within that. And once again, it's just clicking on this right here and going to edit. Now let's assume that this is a chart that you like, right? Everything looks good. What you do is you right click it and you go to save, and then you go to save chart, and we'll just call this the example chart, right? Strictly for the video. Now that is saved in the system. So let's assume that you like the 5 minute chart and you like the daily chart. Now you click over here, click on chart, because let's say you want to add a daily chart onto your screen. Click on that, go to my charts, right? And it will be there, example chart. Great, now you can adjust the time frame up top, daily. So now you got a daily chart, and now you got your 5 minute chart to the left, and all the little things at the top are different time frames. 15, 30, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, you name it, they got it. So you can totally adjust it accordingly. So that is how you go about making your chart. Now let's say you wanted to make a watch list. You would click on watch list, and then what you go to is you go to right here, create new personal watch list. And then you can name it whatever you want. Let's just call this example for the video. Great, and now you have a watch list here. In order to add symbols to the watch list, you click on this right here, this little plus sign symbol. And now you add everything that you're interested in potentially trading that day, or just, having on your list. So I'm just adding random names just to be able to show you that, and you can add as many as you want. And the cool thing with this is you can connect everything together. So if you have a handful of different chart layouts and you want, certain ones connecting to others, you can connect all of it together. So this little thing right here, this little S, allows you to color code it accordingly. So if you have one for options, you have one for small caps, you have one for specific names, you can, let's say you want to make this page connected, you would make the color blue, right? And then let's say you create a whole nother layout in a way that you like. What you can do is you can change the color on all of that, so that way everything isn't changing as you change, watch lists or you type in different tickers. And by doing that, all you're simply doing is just clicking the drop down and changing the color, just like a lot of other brokers do. And as you can see now that this color is different, if I were to go type in something else, it doesn't change. But if I go make this red, then everything is connected together. So that way you can connect numerous symbols if you don't want everything the same color. Because if they're all the same color, when you change it, everything is going to change. So as far as the charts and the watch list goes, that's basically the basics. And then what you can do is you can add things in, right? So if you wanted to add, call it a tool window, because you wanted to add an additional section here, you would go to tool window, you can choose the location. And now this allows you to choose the area in which you want the tool window to go. So let's say I'm going to add, something to the far left. Click on this little arrow to the far left. And then now it adds a whole other window in which you can add whatever you want. And then you can continuously just keep doing this, new window, choose location, go to the bottom, and then it's totally customizable. So super user friendly and pretty awesome. As far as building, a chart, that's pretty much the basics. All you need to do is right click and hit edit chart properties and mess with this, and you'll figure it out in no time. Some of the other really cool things that TC2000 allows you to do is obviously alerts, right? You can create a price alert, for whatever name that you want. I have a couple myself, and it basically just stores it in there. And the moment that it's been hit, you can just get rid of it. And red means it's already been alerted. Green means it hasn't been alerted yet. And you can just add new alert, add a price, add a ticker. Pretty cool. Another cool thing that they do have is easy scans. Easy scans is the kind of that intraday scanner based on any sort of settings that you want. And it basically just brings up all sorts of, all the stocks that you have based on the criteria that you put in there. So let's just assume they have a lot of pre-built stuff. You can add your own. By adding your own or making your own, you just create on, you hit create new easy scan. Now, this can be way advanced, right? You can add all sorts of conditions, everything, right? So I'm not going to go into every single thing here, but you can, fundamentals, indicators, formulas, all sorts of crazy stuff. If you just want to use it for, if you just want to use the easy scans for some of the simple things, that's what I use. I just click on easy scans, and then, I click on things like, super active today, right? And then this basically just comes up with stuff that's, super active, and you can obviously adjust it accordingly. Like if you want this based on price, if you want this sorted by, the amount of volume, if you like trading stocks that are typically have a lot more volume, by percentage of change, if you want to trade gaps. And then the cool thing is, once again, you just connect this to make sure it's the same color as your charts. So I will go change these back to blue, and then now they're connected. So now when you are scrolling through, you have everything on your chart as far as, some of the stocks that are getting hot, during the day or whatnot. And then obviously, you can make your own, like I mentioned before. So you'd probably want to go into a little bit more details figuring that out. But they do have some pre-built options that are pretty good. And then, super active today, even like low price and moving, gap up with momentum. I trade gaps, so this is good. Sorted by the gap, and then just being able to do that. And now let's say you have a window, right? And this thing is just kind of floating here. You can actually detach it. Like if you use a couple screens, you can detach it and drag it to another screen, which is great. Simply by doing that is you just click this little button right here, the float in new layout window. You click on that. It detaches it from the current window and allows you to be able to drag it to any monitor you have. So if you use 2, 3, 4 monitors, you can basically just drag and and put it wherever you want. And now if you wanted to add this to the current layout, what you would do is you click on this little plus sign looking thing that says move window. Click on that, and then once again it gives you an option to choose on where you would like that to be. So let's just assume we want this to the right of that, kind of looking similar to my layout that I have on my main. And then it's just, once again, it's drag and drop. You can customize it to any way that you want. So That's pretty much it as far as the basics go. Super customizable, super friendly, really affordable. You can write it off at the end of the year if you have your trading set up as a business, and and has a scan internally within the system. So, overall, it's good stuff. I've been using TC2000 for going on probably about a year now, and I'm a big fan. When I first signed up with it, I was like, this is new. I don't necessarily know if I like it, because when you try anything for the first time, it takes a little bit to get used to. But when you get used to whatever it is, you usually end up really liking it. That was the case for me. So just wanted to do a quick tutorial. Hopefully that makes things a little bit easier when navigating through it, because it can be a little overwhelming at first, but when you dabble with it a little bit, it's actually very easy to use. If you have any questions in regards to using it all, feel free to add them in the comments, or just send me a message directly. So that is it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.